I'm going to read a little something written by Skern's wife, Kristen. He's a ball buster that nobody will bust. He's a master prescriber of nicknames. To so many of you, Jim is affectionately known as Skern or Skerny. For those close to us, you know the many nicknames he and I had for each other, and those will remain close to our hearts. Above all, Jim is a man no one will ever hold a candle to. I met Jim when I was 17 while enjoying the last carefree days of summer before starting my senior year of high school. But ours was not a love at first sight story. In fact, it took a couple of months of patience and strategic conversation for Jim to finally talk me into a date. Alas, no sparks flew. But again, Jim's patience and persistence triumphed, and it didn't take many more dates before I recognized I met the man that I'd hoped to marry. 6 years after meeting, we stood in front of family and friends to commit our lives to one another. I don't think Jim understood just how much his patience would be tested. We laughed till we cried countless times, but to say our union was without challenges would be deceitful, and Jim despised dishonesty. I don't think one person here today would be speaking truthfully to claim Jim as a liar. He was a truth teller. Many times the truth stung, but that sting was his way of saying, "I love you." His love never falsely reassured someone that your choices were acceptable simply to spare their feelings. He loved you by helping you see a better way, choose a better path, and be a better person. Even if it risked temporarily damaging or even losing a friendship. But the damage would only be temporary, because in the end, after Jim patiently waited, no matter the circumstances, we would come to understand how right he was. And there was Skern grinning, barely able to contain his laughter, as he awarded your newly suited nickname, and the ball busting began. Over the last few days, I've angrily recycled hundreds of questions in my head about Jim's murder. None of the answers are clear yet, but I'm going to channel the patience of Jim because I know in the end we will have answers and we will come to understand. Until then, we are responsible to help each other heal and recover. My healing began the moment I entered the doors at Metro and saw the halls already lined by his CPD brothers and sisters, first responders, and hospital staff, knowing they were witnessing the most evil moment each of us hoped never to experience. It wasn't long after I said goodbye to Jim that cars arrived delivering our kids, Jim's mom and brother, my parents, my siblings, and my cousins to be with Jim before he was taken to the coroner's office. The remainder of the night was filled with anger, sadness, uncertainty, and crushing despair. And it stung. My God, did it sting. But in the midst of all that misery, the sting was soothed, recalling Jim's love for his family and friends, love for his brothers and sisters in blue, and love for the career he never wanted to leave. My hope for the loved ones of Scott Dingus, who was also murdered that night, along with those who loved Nick Sabo, who died only hours later, is that they find peace in their healing. Death by violence is a tragic bond that we all share today, but this bond has given each of us a new family to lean on before we fall and prevent heartbreaking loss for another family. If anyone listening or watching today is hurting or grieving, or feeling so hopeless that you believe the best solution is to kill yourself, please stop suffering in silence. Reach out to someone, anyone, and get help before another family is left grieving. and live a life in honor of Skern and all lives lost to violence. Stop the hate, stop the violence, just stop. And from the bottom of Skern's heart, SYO.